Hello everyone, I'm Julian. Welcome. I'll be taking you through a series on research writing and manuscript submission. And today, we'll start by talking about what exactly is a manuscript and what are the essential components of a manuscript. Now, a manuscript is very similar to a thesis, except in the case of a manuscript, it's a lot more concise. Also, because the aim is to publish the manuscript, so essentially it's a showcase of our work and of our very best achievements. So what are the essential components in a manuscript? Now, as you will know, there's a title and then there's an abstract as well. But in addition to this, and of course the cover letter at the submission stage, which we'll talk about a little bit more later, there are the four main sections. They are introduction, methods, results, and discussion, or what we would call IMRAD for short. Now, each of these sections carries the important task of answering a very crucial question. Now let's look at them one by one. So the introduction. Think about it when you read a book. Would you be able to understand the story if you start from the middle of the book without being provided the context or the background of the story or an introduction to the characters in the story? You probably wouldn't. Hence, the role of the introduction is very important in setting the scene and setting up the background and basically justifying the rationale of why the study is needed. So here we are with the introduction answering the very first important question, and that is, why did you do the study? Only through this and only through the understanding of this that a reader could understand what is the reason for doing it, and only then he or she would be drawn to want to continue to read the manuscript. And that is one of the main aims of being published as well, because you not only do you want your paper to be widely read, but you want it to be highly cited too. Now, the next section would be the methods. So essentially, you need to answer the next important question, and that is, what did you do? What did you do that is different from previous studies? And what did you do to allow you to achieve your novel findings? And this will lead into the third question. So having done what you have done, now you need to answer the questions. What did you find? So to answer this question, we will need to present our results in the results section systematically, but we will go into the details a little bit later. So now, the final question that you need to answer in the manuscript is, how does your study contribute to the field? Because it is very important to give meaning to your findings. You don't just list them, you want to interpret them and you want to discuss about them. What are their implications? What did they tell you? And did it link up to the fact of basically justifying why you did the study? Because when you do a study, you essentially want to fill an unfulfilled research gap. Now, with all those findings, you discuss them in the discussion section, you would be answering this very important question of, how does your study contribute to the field and what do they mean? And of course, there's a little extra question that we need to answer. Think about it. Nothing in this world is perfect, including the study, even though we might think that, well, our study is essentially flawless. But hey, in the scientific world, it's exactly the same. So we need to acknowledge the limitations. So essentially, we need to also answer a question within the discussion section, which is, what are the limitations of your study? What could have gone wrong? What could have affected your results? And what could you have done better if you were to repeat this study further down the road? So yes, essentially, we have covered the essential components of a manuscript that are, let me repeat, the introduction, the methods, the results, and discussion, and what we call IMRAD for short, to answer 4 very important questions. They are, why did you do the study? What did you do? What did you find? And how does your study and its findings contribute to the field?